I guess 1948 time frame. And lo and behold, they transferred me to a unit, VC-31, I think was the number of it. And what they did, they provided seaplanes operated off of carriers, off cruisers and battleships. And I made tours on the USS Manchester as a leading chief petty officer for the V Division. And I made actually a couple of cruises on the USS Missouri. This was after the end of the war.
Wow.
And I was the leading chief. We had we had 3 airplanes on the Missouri. We had 5 airplanes on the Manchester.
5?
Had an elevator,
Oh!
3 planes down below, and 1 on each catapult. But on the battleship, they didn't have any elevator. You had an airplane on each catapult and 1 on the deck dolly. And you recovered all the aircraft from the water through a system called Capt recovery, where you trail out they call a sled, like a big net, and turn into the wind, and the plane comes and lands and taxis onto the net. Underneath the plane's main pontoon was a big hook, and he'd cut his power and slide back into the net. And then you tow him in, a big crane run out, and with a line you'd pull that net in, drop the hook down from the crane, pick up the airplane and swing it around and set it on.
So when we toured the Alabama, you were familiar with that.
And you got one catapult lift on there, and you did have one on the other side.
Right.
Yeah. So I finally got back to sea, and then I got to thinking, I need to get more education. I had 2 years of, I had no college education at that time. I said, I need to get an engineering degree. And so I I requested and was sent to Naval Air Station Anacostia in Washington, D.C., so I could go to engineering school at George Washington University. That was the closest arrangement I could find. And I got 2 years of undergraduate engineering school there. But interestingly enough, they had a rule that you couldn't be accepted in engineering school till after you'd been there 1 year in general studies, so they could see what kind of student you were going to be. I said, well, I don't have time for that. I said, I want to go in engineering right away. Well, there's math and English that people are mostly deficient in. If you're willing to take an exam in each of these areas, and if you pass, we'll take you right in engineering school. And I did. I did.
And you passed them all.
Both of them, yeah.
Flying colors, I'm sure.
I've been out of school since '39, and we're talking about
10 years.
Yeah. But it was pretty straightforward. They didn't tell you whether you had a good grade or bad grade. Yeah, you passed or you didn't pass, And so then I got 2 years of engineering school. Didn't know at that time it would ever do me any good, but I did want to be a graduate engineer for the future. And then, I don't know if you all recall, the Navy was very short of career officers, particularly any that had some technical background. And of course the Navy had sent me to several Navy schools as an enlisted man, technical schools. And so they came out with a program, and initially it was called a Seaman to Admiral program. And it was a forerunner of the NESEP program, which you all are familiar with. And I was selected the first year that program applied and was selected. And the requirement was you have a couple of years of college, preferably engineering. And so I was all set for that. And then they sent my papers over to, I guess, Bureau of Medicine or whatever it was, or out at, what's the Navy hospital? Bethesda.
Yeah.
And the doctor looked at my medical record and he said, you've had an operation on gallstones less than a year ago. He said, we can't pass you for commissioning. I said, my. I didn't know that. I said, how long will it? He says, 5 years. I said, I'll be too old to commission 5 years. He said, how much time do you have left? I said, 2 years. I was 30 years old. And he said, I'll tell you what, hey, if you apply again in 2 years and get accepted, and you let us know about this conversation, we'll pass you if you don't have any trouble. So when it came around, I applied and selected again, and I got on I owned a little tandem aircraft at the time. I flew from my station to Washington. I went over to find this fellow, and he was gone. He wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, right.
I went out to Bethesda. Well, there was somebody in his seat, and I explained to him what the situation was. He said, I don't see a problem with that. He says, if he told you that and you haven't had any problems, we'll pass you. And he took my word for it.
Dang, that's pretty good. Who would do that now?
Pardon me?
Nobody does that anymore. You can't get anybody to take your word for anything.
And then after my commissioning, went to Newport for OCS and joined a company that had all E6 chiefs and 3 or 4 warrant officers, young warrant officers in the company. And after we drilled for a couple of weeks, and they started excusing us for too much Mickey Mouse stuff, if you will. And meantime, we'd go to study halls and stuff like that, rather than march and shoot guns and stuff like that, which they all had to do. They had never done it before. But anyway, commissioning then in '55, and to sea on destroyers for 5 years. And then the deal was with my program, the first tour shore duty, they'd send you to school and finish college, get your degree at Navy expense. And that's what happened. But I could go to any college that had a Navy ROTC program, and they're only at colleges that had what kind of grant program that the college.
Land grant college.
Yeah. And,
So you were commissioned without a degree. You were commissioned before you got a degree.
Yeah, 2 years. I had
And you spent time on, what are some of the tin cans you spent time on?
Yeah, I was on a destroyer, and then after a destroyer, I was an executive officer on an ocean-going minesweeper.
And what were the names of those vessels?
The first destroyer was Allen Sumner.
The Sumner, the whole
DD-692,
class.
a World War II destroyer. I spent 3 or 4 years on that, and then I was selected. Then I was transferred to EXO because I had kept wanting to be. I want to go fast as I could. I had that on my dream sheet, and so I was selected there, and that was a good deal too. It was Panama City, Florida, on the MSO.
Right.
And the name of the MSO was Vital, V-I-T-A-L, V-I-T-A-L. And after their 1 year, the Navy was requested to send an MSO and crew for a year to Belgium to help the Belgian Navy. The Belgian Navy was established after World War II as a minesweeping Navy. They never had a Navy before, and they wanted the Navy, part of NATO's. So we went to Belgium to help them understand and operate the minesweepers just like ours, built in the United States. And that was a good deal. We operated with the Force Navale Belgique, they called it, and they took us south into the Amazon River. Is it the Amazon? It goes inland after you turn around the Horn.
That's
No, it's not the
that's
Amazon.
South America.
It's another.
Not the Nile though.
You go around the Horn.
The Niger River? The Niger River?
No, but anyway, we took.
On Africa or South America?
No, it's in yeah.
It'd be Africa. You was talking about Belgium.
Not on Amazon's in South America. This is South Africa.
The Belgian Congo, the Congolese
Congo
River.
That's
Oh, okay.
Belgian Congo. Yeah.
We actually sailed up the Congo River for I think 100 miles, something like that. It was deep enough and large enough for minesweepers. And we went there for a port visit, but we were under the tactical direction of they had a one-star admiral. That was our top dog, and he went with us. They had several Belgian ships and our ship. We pull into a port, and there's all the Belgian flags, and there's one ship with the U.S. flag. And it was kind of embarrassing because that's where the activity seemed to, the protocol, they'd come to our ship first rather than go to the admiral's ship. Oh. And that created a problem. Oh. But we had a very a good thinker as our CO. He's gone, but what was his name? But anyway, he.
You were the XO on.
The XO of 2 MSOs, 1 year on each one.
But the other one was a Belgian.
Oh no, the other one I was XO on the Vital, and the second was the Valor.
The Valor.
They were both Panama City, but the Panama City based.
So you stayed under an American flag. You weren't providing assistance to them.
Exactly.
And they had the same ships under the Belgian.
United States, but they were having trouble with maintenance on their engines, and they were having trouble with some of the minesweeping techniques. And our people, here's what the CO of the Valor was told: you can select anybody in the force, officer or enlisted, to replace anybody on your ship, because we want a first class. And he asked he transferred his XO, and that's brought me aboard as his XO, because I just beat him out the year before in competition. But anyway, we had a good crew, had good officers, good qualified men, and we worked with them and did very good. We got lots of attaboys out of that.
Was this about 1960?
This is well, let's see, yeah, in the early 60s. Because I was commissioned in 55, and I went to Monterey to college in 60 or 61, something like that. But Monterey was the one school where they didn't have an NROTC that I could go to school. It's a naval postgraduate school. And I thought, you know, I think I'll go there because I want to go to California. So I got my engineering degree from the U.S. Naval Postgraduate School. It was a great school. They had a lot of retired professors, some who have been writers of some of the textbooks we used, and it was a great education. But that's my story up to that point.
But you had a fascinating early career, and by that point in time, you're already approaching 35 years old, is this right?
Yeah. I was a lieutenant commander. No, I was still a lieutenant. And then...
so you have 20 years in the Navy at this point?
Yeah. And
wow.
At that time,